Welcome back, everyone. The trio is back. We have an official, cemented Hall of Fame pitcher in Clayton Kershaw finally punching out his 3rd batter. Amazing. Congrats, Clayton. You deserve it. You've been around forever. You haven't pitched much in the past several years, but it's because your body is made of glass now. You're 104. But once again, congrats. The last 2 pitchers who got to 3,000 K were both with the Dodgers, the other being Scherzer. There's only one other active pitcher who has 3,000 Ks, and that is Justin Verlander. But his 3,000 K was very weird. He struck out. Cole Calhoun reached on a drop third strike. Interesting. Not common. Bad news in baseball, but also good news because good for him. Kevin Pillar has officially reached for the Sunflower Seeds and Gatorade for the last time as a major leaguer, retiring yesterday with exactly 1,234 games. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hats off to a terrific defender and a human for this game. More on Pillar later. James Wood completed a feat not done since September 22nd, 2004. Intentionally walked 4 times in a game. Can you guess who the last person who did that was? Good old-fashioned Barry Bonds. Pretty elite company. But let's talk about one other beat. We celebrated a holiday yesterday. One of our favorites. There's one tomorrow that is quite possibly most of America's favorite. And then yesterday was quite possibly one of baseball fans' favorites. Bobby Bonilla Day, the other BB. Bobby, you lucky dog. We've talked a lot of negative things about the Rockies, but one good thing happened at Coors the other day. 500 Ryans showed up to that stadium. 500 Ryans. People with the first name Ryan. There had to have been a Craigslist ad or a Facebook group or, I don't know, for a good time call written in a park bathroom for calling all Ryans. But Ryan McMahon hit a home run in Coors Field on that night. There were 500 Ryans cheering on that run. Pretty funny. What's not funny is an Arizona Diamondback fan has been banned from the stadium for the remainder of the year due to 4 separate instances of interfering with balls in play, all due to either home runs or pulling the ball over the fence. I want to say the dude's a jackass, but at the same time, it's kind of instinct if a ball's coming towards you. If the guys want, we'll talk about that later. But now, let's get into the show. We are Drunks in the Pond. Thank you all for being here. Thank you for the love. And most importantly, stay drunk. Be sure to like, follow, subscribe. Tell us we're handsome. Tell me that I'm sweaty. Tell Damon that his hair's long. And tell Jay that he is just such a sweet boy. Drunks in the Pond. Let's go, guys.
Boys are back. It is episode, I believe, 55. You know, I was away last week because of work. Damon also away because his own reasons. We won't go into personal depths. So Rich handled the weight last week, dropped the episode, fucking a pickle. But we're back, and we're here to talk some ball. Before we really jump into it, though, man, I gotta tell you, and this isn't a paid advertisement, this is just a heart-to-heart. Life is not easy. Like, my God, man. Those working nights, trying to sleep during the day, you get kind of stuck in this weird autopilot mode where you work, you come home, you sleep, you wake up, you do what you can, you do the same thing. It's a cycle. It sucks. Mentally, physically, emotionally draining. And I'll be honest, I have not completed a behind the scenes since the Walter Johnson one, and it really sucks because I love doing them, but I just have not had the time or the energy to put into them. But I am making my way back. I am trying to return to the positive side of things and get out of this funk that I've been in. So here's to hoping. Like I said, this isn't a paid advertisement for you to go to a therapist. You know, obviously if you're struggling, go to a therapist, but that's on you. That's all.
For a second, Jay, I thought that you got us better help as a sponsor.
No, No, and if BetterHelp reaches out, I will not be accepting them as a sponsor because from what I've read and what I've heard, they are absolutely atrocious to work with, and I've heard nothing but bad things. So BetterHelp,
Oh no.
don't bother reaching out because I will not be associated with a company that is supposed to be supporting people and is doing the absolute opposite. To the ball talk though, it's been a wild one. Like I said, I've been so busy with work, I really have not watched any, but I have caught some of the news with the All-Star game coming up, the Derby, James Wood, Cal Raleigh, big dumpers in it, Ronald Acuna Jr.'s in it. I think those are the only 3 contestants named right now, but I did see that Javi Baez Almago has made an All-Star game, his first since, man, it's been years. But obviously he made it as an outfielder. Shout out to Javi Baez, who made an episode about him, 5 weeks ago, maybe, something like that. The Mets have been in a downward spiral. And yeah, baseball's been fucking baseball. Shout out Damon's pot real quick. I saw that they renamed the NoCo Owls. Or are they now the Northern Colorado Sky Sox?
They're now the Colorado Springs Sky Sox.
So, yeah, I did see that. I do like the name.
I do too.
I was actually kind of surprised they didn't take the Z that they put the end of Owls and throw it somewhere in there. I felt like they would have, but alas, did not happen.
I was going to say, real quick, with you speaking on that, I was going to ask you guys, you ever seen a team fold in the middle of a season?
As in, like, they're no longer a team?
Yeah, exactly what I mean.
Can't say I have.
I haven't seen it.
Yeah, if you go look up the Northern Colorado Owls, owner was in some sort of loss. I really don't know. All I knew was it was just a messy situation, and yeah, long
No
and
shit.
short, yeah, dude, the team just folded. Yeah, if you went and looked at the Sky Sox team, the Northern Colorado Owls are no more. And I was like, what? Well, I woke up, I was like, ooh, when does that happen?
I thought it was just like a name change. I didn't know that the team just straight up collapsed and that was that.
So is this like a mid-season character change where it's like no one will notice?
Well,
That's
I
insane.
mean, yeah,
It's like turning a Yellow Ranger to a different person in Power Rangers.
I mean,
Yellow was the first color because Jay's shirt's yellow.
I'll put it like
But also
this:
that happens.
how I thought it happened was one of the guys. He was a pitcher for the team, no longer pitching for him. Was actually cut right around like the beginning of the season. But he goes, "Yeah, man. Before I went out there, I didn't know what was going on. So he reached out to somebody. It was somebody that was above my dad in the organization, and he's like, "Hey, what's really going on?" And the guy's like, "I'm gonna be honest with you. I really don't know either. I don't have that many answers, but what I do know is this is like the most cocky answer I've ever heard from like anybody ever." Dude goes, "I do know that the Pioneer League can't afford to operate without us, so we're just gonna make it. We're just gonna make it work. We're gonna wing it." And well, 2 months in, they found a way to work without you guys. So that was unique to hear and see.
That's wild.
Yeah, yeah. And like I said, this is all secondary information that I got from somebody that played like 2 games with the team. So, but he was down there. He was down there for the full
He had the ins
sprint.
and outs though.
I mean, he went down there and was like, "Hold on, I'm in the group chat. Nobody's talking right now. What's going on? Does somebody want to say something?"
Team just straight up folded.
Hey, also like you really gotta like admire. It's not well you know, it's who you know. And apparently that guy, he knew.
Yeah, I was so, I think extrapolated is the word I'm looking for, if that even is a word. And
It is.
I hope that's the right word I'm thinking of, because my mind about the whole situation is,
We'll see if that's the word you meant from your next comment.
That's such a wild ass pull for a word too. Like, I feel like you could have went like 2 or 3
Yeah,
different
dude.
directions there, and my man just
I'm
pulled out the encyclopedia, went to EX, and was like,
no.
let's see how we can
I'm
manage this one.
so I'm so happy that he got my word of the day calendar that I sent him, and today must have been extrapolated.
That's a
So, damn it, I'm
that's
proud
a
of you,
great
buddy.
word. Damn. So the NoCo Owls just shut the doors, walked away, and we got the Colorado Springs Sky. That, you know what? I actually do like that name a lot better, and it does roll off the tongue a hell of a lot easier.
Yeah, and you know the
Springs.
Norco Owls. Yeah, you know they were a former team. They were. I'm not even gonna lie and say I remember who they were. I did some research, forgot about it, but they're a team beforehand. Nolan Arenado played for him. Charlie Manuel coached for him.
Shit.
Hey, right now he is ecstatic because he's like, it's hidden season, boys. As soon as
I'm
it
just
turns
saying.
hot, Charlie Manuel, it's hidden season. That's an
So,
old dog, man. It's an old dog. He's been
That's all
everywhere.
I'm saying. You know, some history. There's some history to it.
Who doesn't love history? It's one of the greatest things about this game. I mean, I guess we can get into our first subject. How does everyone feel about history being made last night with good old Clayton Kershaw with his 3,000 strikeout?
I mean,
It's great. Absolutely. It further cemented his first ballot Hall of Fame without a doubt. Like, I'm ecstatic for him, except also I'm like, dude, you should have had this 3.5, 4 years ago.
and that's the problem with injuries, man, is that you just never know
Yeah.
how severe they're ever going to be. I mean, it's remarkable that he's only one of 4 left-handed pitchers to reach the 3,000 mark. You know, I mean,
Holy
shout out to
crap,
him.
really?
He's one of 4. CC Sabathia, Steve
Carlton,
Carlton, and
Randy Johnson.
Lefty
Randy
Grove?
Johnson. Randy Johnson.
Damn. Well,
But
obviously
yeah,
Randy. Duh.
so I mean, I'm definitely glad he made it. Uh Obviously going to the Hall of Fame. This was just kind of another feather in the cap for him.
Yeah, this wasn't even a stepping
I
stone.
mean, listen, it's a great moment hitting 3K regardless. Not many pitchers do it. Not many pitchers last long enough to even come close. You know, I mean, I think Verlander's still on the cusp. I think Scherzer's close if he's not over.
Scherzer's got it.
And Greinke, I
Scherzer's
know,
got it.
is still short by a little bit. I would still like to see someone call Greinke up and let him get to 3K, just so. Because I don't think
Greinke is. Give me 1 second.
I don't think he's Hall of Fame bound. I'll be honest. I think he was very good. He was a very solid pitcher for a long time. But I do think him not hitting K is one of the arguments that they'll use against putting him in. But no, it's a big deal. It's huge for baseball. Shout out Clayton Kershaw, one of the greatest left-handed regular season pitchers, and probably one of the worst postseason pitchers from the left side.
Greinke is 21 strikeouts away.
Gotta get Greinke back out
Listen,
there. We gotta get him there.
the guy hasn't pitched in a couple years. I think we're at 2 right now. 2 full seasons that he hasn't pitched, or maybe 2.5. No, it's 1.5. Because Jay and I were saying at the beginning of last season he should pick up. Dude, Greinke had some of the greatest modern era seasons of all time.
I just want
Dude,
to
you finish a season with 222 innings and a 1.66 ERA
like
and 200 strikeouts.
the one thing that really needs to be understood is probably 41 years old. He's 21 strikeouts away. Jamie Moyer pitched until he was 49, and even in his last season, he struck out over 30 batters. If you don't think Zach Greinke could come back this year or next year after getting himself some training and strike out 21 batters, you are absolutely out of your mind. If there's anyone that could do it, it's Greinke.
You want to know the type of people that think that he can't do it? Are the type of goons that were trying to come at me for that Trevor Bauer comment. Come on now.
Yo.
Come on now.
It's got to be talked about. My man got sent down.
I'm not going to drop that. P Muggs want to say something to me. He can't even pitch in Japan. You tell me he could pitch in the MLB. Get out of here. Get out of here. Talk about.
How's the minor leagues? How's the minor leagues, Trev?
Listen, I think we gotta let Damon have his moment here, because Damon said it first, and he got attacked, and Trevor Bauer just got sent down in the NPB. So I mean, I think we gotta let him go.
All I need is for those same dudes, okay? Those same dudes that were saying something, saying I didn't know what I was talking about. I'm just some regular crony. Drink the water I piss in, all right? Like, I ain't got nothing else to say. If y'all want to take over from there, that's it. That's it. If you below me, that's all you got to know. Don't speak to the king, all right? Kiss my ring when I look at you. But, yeah, Trevor
My
Bauer,
man.
hey, he can't even do it over there, so he ain't going to do it here, baby. Just had to let that out. I'm
Hey,
sorry.
Damon, you said it best. You come at the king, you best not miss. And they missed because you were spot on way before. All right,
Yep.
we'll
Nah,
finish
I
this episode.
ain't got the belt for nothing. That's not for nothing.
you really gotta give it to Damon, though.
Yeah.
You really have to. Damon called it. He stood 10 toes down, and then Bauer's been getting shelled in Japan. He was the worst pitcher in the NPB, got sent down, and here we go. Now
Hey,
it's Damon starting to celebrate. I
here's
give it
to
to
you,
him.
Trev. This boy in Cali was just like, I see you. I see you. Here's to you, Trev.
What's even better is I don't just see him, I have people that know him. I get information, and I just speak on what I get from first person interactions. That's all I like to do, guys. So if you hear me speaking about somebody in such
Yeah.
a brazen way, it's from me interacting with them or me knowing somebody that has had personal interactions with. So, hey, you guys can have fun, back at your guys' houses or your mother's basements, as I must, And make sure when you get tucked in tonight, tell your mother that you got done up by the stat guy and give her my number. I would love to pay Carol a visit, all right? Let her know about
No. The stat guy.
the stat guy. Yeah, like the Ohio State University. The stat guy. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, don't include that trash state in your name.
Okay. Yeah, I'm going to start telling people I'm the stat guy. Yeah. Look at my
Yes.
Donnie Dimers.
Because they said Donnie Darko. I was like, wait, where's this
My
going?
Donnie Dimers, baby. I went into the
All
dentist's office.
right.
They were fixing up my teeth. I said, "These are my Donnie fucking Dimers, baby." They said, "What is that?" I said, "It's my money makers." And that's what kind of got me
All
upset
right.
too. It was like, do I need to have crooked teeth for these people to start listening to me? Like, what's up with that?
Obviously not, because I mean, we saw how the past 48 hours have gone in our Senate and Congress. So no, crooked teeth don't matter.
Okay.
So that's the end of that. So let's talk about this. Do we call him a D-bag? The Arizona Diamondback fan? Like
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't know. Like,
Yeah.
yes, what he
Yeah.
does is not okay, but also it's always been in the same exact spot. You got to be lucky for this to happen 4 times. Like, you are absolutely lucky because you're within the same vicinity every single time because that's I guess, your season tickets. But dude, 4 instances, you have been a deciding factor for the umpires to meet and say, yo, we got to talk about this because that's messed up. And this is all of them have happened 4 different seasons. I don't know if you really want to put an exclamation point on it. This dude is in the wrong every single time. I know for one of the video clips that I've seen, he full out reached over.
I
The other
mean,
two that I saw were problematic too, but not reaching over.
all I have to say about it is, again, if you're the cause of, I mean, we've seen people get thrown out for just one. We've seen people get
Correct.
thrown out for foul balls and stuff. I don't know why a season ticket holder or anything like that gets to do it 4 times and then it's like, hey, you're banned for the rest of the season. No, after the first time, it should have been something. He did it 2 times in one season, which was completely egregious. It's like, come on, dude. So that's where I'm like, let the players play.
Well, I
If
thought it was
it's
4 separate.
4 separate, but he had
Twice
two
in
in a
one
season.
season?
He had twice in one
Oh, okay.
season.
I thought it was 4 separate seasons. Okay. My apologies.
I mean, it may have been 4 separate seasons, but he's had, I mean, I saw somewhere where it said it got up to 9 times. Like, I can't verify that. I've only seen the ones that were making their round. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So, like, again, buddies just got to go. I mean, people got to start learning their place. If you want to shag, I think the team should, for the season ticket holders and stuff like that, get them out there for BP or something like that. I don't know. But
Yeah, I
yeah,
mean, I definitely agree. Like, one time you can go, you know what, man, my mistake, that's my fault. But like, come on, man, how many chances could you possibly get and keep making the same mistake? At some point, baseball had to step in and be like, all right, dude, listen, like, obviously you're not learning a lesson here. Like, we're done. Like, this is over. No more. It's done. And honestly, so be it. Like, at some point, it had to stop. If this dude wasn't going to stop himself, then baseball has to step in and stop him. I think that's completely fair. Like, I really don't know how anyone can argue in keeping him in a stadium. Like, especially if it's been like multiple seasons back to back to back where one instance has happened with this same person. It's like, dude, how many chances could you possibly get? Like, I can't believe I'm actually saying this. I can't believe the words are actually about to come out of my mouth, but I can't believe we actually found a guy who catches home runs that's worse than Zach Hample.
I knew it was coming. I think the only reason that I agree with you on the fact that he's worse than Hample is the fact that it's been 4 times in the same exact spot at the same stadium, which means that you're just kind of douching it up. And it's not that you're intentionally interfering, it's that you're just always in the spot that pisses people off.
You want to know who I think? You want to know how I think you should actually equate it out? I think you're missing something huge here. Okay, kids push per season. That's a huge stat you're missing. Zach Hample is averaging over 20 kids push per season. Okay, so like
these sabermetric dorks are really starting to get on my nerves.
Gosh,
how are you?
One of my favorite videos I've seen. I think it was on TikTok or Instagram. Someone took a video of Zach Hample like running to the other side because I guess they had 3 right-handers coming up, and someone reached their foot out to trip him. And here's the thing. I'm not for doing things like that. Like, when someone's running, don't trip them. Like it could cause serious injury. Like, as innocent as it looks, all it takes is for some dude to face plant into concrete, hit his head, and go and have brain hemorrhage. Like,
unfortunately, Zach Hample's
it looks very simple as like just innocent fun, but it can happen. Don't be stupid, play it safe. Wrong. But like the fact that someone reached their foot out to trip Zach Hample from catching a home run ball, I was like, all right, like I get it. At some point, we do need to make a step forward into stopping this dude from catching home runs. I don't think we're at the tripping phase yet. Like, maybe we just get like 3 guys to box him out. And
I have another question for you. Okay, so now we're looking at distance traveled per home run. That's another stat we got to throw in there. And with that, I mean, are we going to count fan interference with that? Because, remember, there is the 4th outfielder that does this as well. And, like I said, he's the 4th outfielder, dude. You cannot, you can't interfere with something like that. So when we're looking at distance traveled per home run caught,
per kids pushed.
Well, no, kids push per game. That's kind of like ERA, but then you have to equate out for the full season. Because you want to get the mean of that. So you'll sit there and look at it, and you're like, 1 and 2 doesn't equal 4. You buckle it down, and you're like, Zach Hample, X amount of kids push per season, dude, and the Diamondbacks thing. I think that people know he's going after the home runs. They kind of let him do his thing. He may have 2 or 3 kids push per season, but I think per capita, Zach Hample is a front runner. And I'm not saying, I go to every game to know statistically. I just go on, savant.com / the 4th outfielders, and it just gives you a list of each team's superfan and on top of the superfan, if they have a 4th outfielder among them. It just happens to be that way,
The only thing I do know is that Zach Hample's kids push per game goes crazy during the All-Star break in the home run derby. Well, dude.
Holy crap. That just the triple digits.
Dude, when that right-handed hitter comes up and Zach Hample finds himself in right field, dude, that kid's push, you might as well multiply that by 10 because he is on the move.
Well, what's his SBPG? His super bruises per game that he gives to kids. Where he punches them in the shoulder, get him out the way, dude. It's got to be problematically high.
I mean,
okay, so what you're looking at is the dead arm and dead leg per capita. Okay, and
Okay,
his,
I'm sorry.
yeah, it is okay.
I'm not
There are a lot of
connected on these terms because in my opinion, I think of this as like XFIT. I don't care.
I know. I get it. I get it completely. Guys like me, the stat guy, I gotta really get in on these stats. And listen, dead arms and dead legs per capita, listen, that gives you a 300-foot radius, okay? And how many
Wow, that's
people
good
in that
grounds.
300,
That's good
yeah,
grounds.
in that 300-foot radius, depending on where you are, you could be in the parking lot right when you cross the gates. Right when you park, baby, it starts. Okay, so if I went to a game in Cleveland, okay, parked in a parking structure, walked across the street. If I bumped into a couple people, bam, right there. That's right there. Okay, that could be kids push right there. If that's a younger than 18, you just pushed your kid, my guy. You might be in
Jay,
the elevator with somebody. Think about it. There's sometimes that
there's
those
300
lines.
feet of Citizens Bank Park between cars.
So
Dude, you're the expert at construction. You should know distance just from your eyes.
I mean,
Listen,
I am burned out from construction work. I'm enjoying this
listen.
3-day
If you,
weekend.
if you're wanting, an accurate representation of what it would look like, okay, you know where those houses are at Wrigley, those apartments, okay? He could be over there and give somebody a dead arm and a dead leg, and it still counts, okay? Like, it just happens to be that way. So, his is, like I said, at one of the highest because I've seen people that have tried to get down and dirty with him. I know somebody personally that boxed out Zach Hample for an Alex Rodriguez home run. Boxed him out. Shaq in the paint. You know what
Okay,
I mean? It was crazy.
hang on, wait. Quick question: are there any asterisks?
Listen, yeah, you do have to, like I said, with the fourth outfielder, you want to look at them like an actual player on the field. So if there is any fan interference, somebody boxing them out like that, somebody smacking the glove, you gotta, it's kind of like looking at an ERA and then looking at FIP. With the FIP, you're looking at what the pitcher truly did for himself versus, if a guy's making a diving play and saving you, that shouldn't count towards your ERA. You could have given up 2 runs right there. So I like how he just left on me when I started explaining it. Some of these guys, they want to learn the sabermetrics, but once you start explaining the sabermetrics, just leave. How are you liking the presentation thus far?
It's a solid presentation. I will give you that.
Thank
You're doing
you.
really well. I can't believe we just talked about Zach Hample for close to goddamn 10 minutes.
Well, I mean, it's fair.
Honestly, it's...
If we're the devil in Arizona, we talk about the actual devil in the game.
roaming the ballparks.
Yeah, well, we're talking about Beelzebub versus the devil. And ain't
You guys watch Family Guy?
yes,
Not really anymore.
Okay. You remember back in
but
the
still
day
yes.
where Stewie went to church, threw up the communion, they had to run to Texas because they thought Stewie was the devil? While you guys were trying to say and patronize this man in Arizona as the devil, I had to remind people of who the super devil is.
Super Devil.
Yeah, you don't remember how it was like, okay, so basically there's a devil, and then they're like, yeah, we're no longer scared of the devil, there's a super devil, and super devil was basically like longer horns, rode a motorcycle. It was just, it was dumb. It was dumb. You know what I mean? But that's where I'm.
Alright, that's fair. I'll have to take your word for it. I don't think I've seen that episode, but I'll have to be on the lookout for it.
I am so glad you brought up the Super Devil. Because guess what? The Super Devil is talking once again to the MLB. Major League Baseball and ESPN are reportedly in the early stages of renewed broadcast rights negotiations after failing to come to agreement earlier this year. The new talks are expected to focus on local rights and elements of ESPN's initial pitch. Should they continue?
If they're not in talks to end blackouts, then I really do not give a goddamn Baseball
that's
and
why they said
ESPN is...
local rights.
Here's the thing. I didn't mind baseball and ESPN when they actually put in when they actually put an attempt in to care about baseball. But let's be honest here. Over the past 10, 15 years, how often did ESPN talk about someone besides Aaron Judge, Shohei Ohtani, Mike Trout, or Bryce Harper when it came to baseball?
Less than
We have guys
9 times.
in the NBA. We have guys in the NBA who ride the bench for pretty much the entire season that get more airtime than guys who are actually doing big things in baseball. So honestly, for ESPN to turn around and be like, well, we would love to have baseball back. Why? So you can broadcast a home run derby. You can broadcast the All-Star game. You can have a playoff game. Like, really? So we can listen to Stephen A. Smith act like he knows anything about baseball? Like,
He doesn't.
Like, truthfully, even if they go back to ESPN, I don't watch SportsCenter anymore because I do not care to know anything about basketball. So it does nothing to me. It does nothing for me. And that's the mentality I'm going to keep, is that this has nothing that interests me at all. Just end the blackouts.
In my personal opinion,
let me pay for MLB TV and watch the Phillies.
In my opinion, basketball is what you do at recess when it's raining. I don't care. Like, ESPN focuses more on that than anything for half the year, and the other half of the year is NFL, which I understand. The NFL is the biggest cash cow in sports. You gotta broadcast X amount of times of that where it's deserved. But then you have two other sports that completely get denied or negated completely in MLB and NHL. NHL's seeing an uptick in viewership and just they're making a comeback. Baseball is seeing its best ratings in years. ESPN, I mean, it's not like we get a Tuesday night game anymore that matters. We don't get a Wednesday night. We don't get, except for Sunday night baseball. Baseball tonight is nowhere near what it used to be. I mean, I'm sorry. As a lifelong Phillies fan, the second you added Doug Glanville to baseball tonight, I was confused because as a Phillies fan, I never understood anything. Like, I understand he is actually pretty good at being an analyst, but as a player, a lot to be desired. I don't get ESPN's fascination with wanting to be able to be the number one in all sports because they're not good at it. They're not good at taking care of everyone. They're only good at taking care of two of the big four. But they're also not good at that either because they only care about X amount of players, X amount of teams. They don't spread the love. They don't spread any of the knowledge of anyone that truly matters. Like, I don't get it. They really want to be the face of sports, except they're wearing a mask. No one knows what their face is. Their face is all bull. That's what it is. So I don't want it to happen. I want baseball to spread out, branch out, go back to being more local focused, and on top of that, nationwide with some other provider. I'm just over ESPN and their ABC, Disney ties. It's BS. Damon, what do you think about the stupidity?
If you want my honest thoughts, dude, it is just we're at a point. I don't even think it's just ESPN because I haven't watched ESPN in 10 years, close. Not it anymore. I don't like Stephen A. I don't like anything that they cater to. It is very, if you scream at the mic, and that's the theatrics are supposed to take over for actual reporting. And yeah, I mean, I truly think Rich hit it right on its head. They only care about the NBA. They only care about the NFL. Something like the MLB, dude, I don't know why the MLB doesn't, okay. If they want to have because they always talk about, blackouts and stuff like that. Why doesn't the MLB own the rights and then just sit there and, because I have a buddy that has the MLB app, but he doesn't get the Dodgers because he lives out here. They have the Time Warner deal. Dude, figure that out. You're the MLB. Figure it out. Contact all 30 teams. Be like, hey, what do we need to do? Because, this isn't working, and, the people that are reaching out aren't giving us anything good. So how can we make this beneficial for all of us? And people talk about money and everything. Okay, cool. Then, instead of trying to take money from over here, you have a lot to build right here. Do something with this, and then try and build from it. You might make more than taken from somebody else. That's where I'm like, it's pitiful. It's truly
It's
pitiful in my.
shared revenue, and shared revenue can't be shared. That's the way. That's honestly the way that I think MLB looks at it. Shared revenue can't be shared.
I'll be honest. I think we'll get blackouts ended when Rob Manfred is like 2 months
6
away
feet under.
from officially retiring. Because Rob Manfred came out and he said either 2026, 2027, it's going to be his last year as commissioner. I think that that's going to be the move where Rob Manfred is like, my last goodbye to baseball is ending blackouts. And not to be like now I'll be the greatest commissioner ever in baseball history or like that. I think that's just going to be the move that he makes so people can be like, Rob Manfred saved baseball, and you know, he was the one that ended blackouts. I don't know, man. We've been complaining about blackouts for what, almost 10 years now?
10 years.
And it feels like there's been no progress made. So like I genuinely don't see blackouts ending for the foreseeable future.
No.
But I mean, Damon hit it right on the head. It's like you watch ESPN or you put on Sports Center and you know, you listen to these two people go back and forth. It's over exaggerated movements. It's the worst takes humanly possible because that is what people are going to talk about. They're going to talk about how one guy is like, well, neither LeBron James or Michael Jordan's the greatest. Actually, if you look on the bench, it's this guy on the Sixers who's only played 2 minutes a game for 3 games total. It's the most asinine takes that draw attention. And the minute that you have to do that for someone to talk about it, you're pretty much a losing battle. Like, you're making up to get views. And I think it's funny because we have MLB Network already. We have programs on MLB Network. Like, instead of trying to push it out on ESPN, which hasn't worked for God knows how long, why not push out the material that is on your network? Make your network available.
Can I ask you a quick question? Why isn't MLB's best personalities and qualities working for MLB Network?
I'll be honest.
Understand the BS. They don't want to deal with the corporate BS. They don't want to deal with anything even remotely close to being told how to be, except a personality. Except they want you to change your personality to be more forthcoming and more camera acceptable. There's 2 people on the tip of my tongue that would be amazing personalities, except MLB would not want them. Dallas Braden, one of the most raw people when it comes to the sport. He is raw, he's truthful, damn well knowledgeable about the game. And I mean, this is going to sound funny. I miss him being a part of the game from the commentary and analyst aspect because, dude, there's nothing more interesting than a scoring brother and a forgotten brother. Billy Ripken was a damn good analyst. That's 2 people that MLB should have at like the forefront. Billy Ripken being the much more seasoned vet, and then Dallas Braden being the younger, more in tune with the population and the fans. That's a commentary team. That's an analyst team that I would love to watch often. Also, Eric Burns was pretty damn solid when he was in his heyday. With, I think, Baseball Night, or was he with MLB Network? I think he was Network.
I think the one thing that you can do if you really wanted to bring out the best in MLB Network, I'm not saying Harold Reynolds is a bad analyst. He's truly not. He's probably one of baseball's better ones. But you need players who are more recently retired. Like, Harold Reynolds has been retired for a long time. And like I said, he's not a bad analyst, but he's been out of the game for too long. If you get guys who are more recently retired, who can talk about the newer aspect of the game and, you know, how much baseball has changed, I think that is a great starting point for turning this whole thing around. Love Matt Vasgersian. Harold Reynolds is good at what he does. But, you know, outside of those 2, you know, you need more people that can bring attention to the network. And I just saw they had a commercial for a new podcast they have with Xavier Scruggs and somebody, and They pretty much do like a daily baseball talk or whatever. And I'm not saying Xavier Scruggs is a bad guy. I know him formerly as a player, but I'm also not going to sit here and act like Xavier Scruggs is a household name.
No.
Overall,
When you first
baseball
said
just
it, I
needs to
thought
do
Tyler
better with
Skaggs. I was like,
Tyler Skaggs is
yes, rest in peace.
no longer with us. Yeah, so Xavier Scruggs played 50 games in the majors. He was 27 for 130 for a 227 batting average. He hit 1 home run, 14 RBIs, and he had a combined WAR of negative 0.3. That is who is on a podcast on the MLB Network.
Go.
How is anyone going to take this dude's take seriously? Like, congratulations, you made it to the show, but like...
You know whose podcast is great? Eric Hosmer's.
Eric Hosmer's all over Twitter nowadays, and honestly, I kind of got annoying.
Oh, okay.
Is he as annoying as Ben Verlander?
No, here's the thing. I'm not saying Eric Hosmer's a bad dude. I just, like, when some athletes get their Twitter fingers going and start, like, just pushing out bad takes, I'm like, all right, bro. Like, I'm officially out on this one.
I didn't know he was doing bad takes.
There's a catcher. I know he retired. He's more recently retired. But he is all over Twitter with his shit too. And it's just like, my God. Like, you really can't get away from it. You truly cannot.
You know who's a guy that I think would actually be pretty good at a podcast? Kevin Pillar. Kevin Pillar, listen, I mentioned it in the intro. Congrats on your retirement. You deserve it. You played a long, very solid career. But dude's a solid player. And most importantly, one thing I like about what he just did in his retirement speech, after that, he had a great conversation about his experience with the Rangers, which is only 20 games. That's why he retired. I'm not sure if you guys saw this. He was not a fan of the culture in the locker room.
Oh, yeah, I did read about it.
Quoted from Kevin Pillar. I thought they'd be a little bit tighter as a group. I thought it would be my experience, very similar in Atlanta. Everyone wanted to pull in the same rope. Everyone wanted to hang out and do everything together. Winning was the most important thing every day. When he got to Texas, I mean, yeah, he's not wrong. There's a lot of talent there, but there's a lot of individual stuff going on. A lot of guys are doing their own thing. You might not see people until the game. Guys are just kind of doing their own thing. Not a lot of BP, not a lot of stretching together. Maybe for me, just being the outcast, the new guy, the vet thrown in on a cheap contract. It's a lot of the same guys that won the World Series 2 years ago. So he was on the outside. I was looking for more of a way to get in that inner circle, and that comes through doing things together, stretching, BP, talk about things that aren't baseball, and you get to know guys. A guy like that is the type of guy I want to hear from, that he's willing to just flat out be like, listen, it wasn't a positive locker room, that the guys weren't friends, there wasn't a family culture. See, you grew up going to locker rooms. You grew up in locker rooms, not just going to them. You grew up in them. You ate the same food as the players. You sat in the same chairs. A locker room family is one of the more important things to making a good clubhouse, correct?
Yes and no. I mean, it's kind of like how you would look at like a classroom. Everybody has their cliques, but it's how do you guys have the camaraderie? So, I mean, at the end of the day, it's like your battle buddy. People expect these guys to have like good chemistry and all like each other. Some dudes cannot stand each other, but they have a common goal. And that's what they're trying to work towards. And I mean, I don't know if it's some people that are getting overpaid or if it's the team or whatever it may be. But a lot is just different in the MLB now. Like, if you go look at like a lot of coaching staffs, go look at guys that have like 10 years as players. Like, I'm talking like full on 10 years. A lot of coaching staffs may have one guy, two guys. The rest are guys that flamed out after a couple years. You may know a couple of the dudes on the staff, but that's about it. And yeah, those are the guys that they want running the show because, if a player is going to tell you what made him successful, they don't want that. They want, a 3 outcome type of guy. They want a guy that's going to get a lot of RBIs and a lot of home runs. That's what gets you the big contract nowadays. As you see with a guy like Luis Arias, he's struggling. He's going from contract to contract to contract. Why? Because he's a contact hitter. But if that dude laid 40, He hit 199 for the past 4 seasons with 40 home runs each year. He may be making 15, 20 million a year. So, I mean, that's just where the game is now. So, I mean, yes, you guys all want to have the relationships and everything going. Like, I mean, like certain guys will throw parties and stuff like that. And it'd be like a team get together, basically. You know, I know a guy that would fly a barber, a tattoo artist out, and he'd host tattoo parties. So everybody would come over to his house, and you know, if guys wanted to get tattoos and stuff, there's a guy right there, and you know, it was kind of like reasonable tattoos. If you wanted something major, I have my guy out here for the next week or so. We could talk about you getting something done, but yeah, you definitely want to. It's like your coworkers. You don't. I know you for a fact. You don't like every one of your coworkers, but you guys have the aspect of, look, we have a common goal that we want to achieve right now, and we have to work towards. And do you walk in on teams that are completely opposite? Hell yeah. Like 2007 Nationals was, I remember walking in that clubhouse and literally looking at it like it was a high school lunch. Kids here, kids here, kids
Where do I
here.
sit? Where do I sit?
Yeah, so you would think it'd be different, you know, once you get into an aspect like that. No, it's all the same. Think about the guys when you fight in the clubhouse. Like there has to be animosity before that for you to actually sit there and fight somebody. Like you telling me Jonathan Papelbon just up and randomly decide to get mad at Bryce Harper, or was that something? Yeah, was that something that just leaked out? You know, and I mean the what was it? B.J. Upton and Evan Longoria, same thing. Is that something that they had prior that we don't even know about? That something that simple led to, you know? So that's kind of things that you know you have to look at, but for the most part, yeah, and both you. For the most part, you know, you just keep the cool with everybody, keep the peace. As for like being friends, nah. Some people you won't even get a beer with.
Yeah, listen, I get it. I mean, being in a locker room is exactly like being in a lunchroom, as you said, but you got to make the best of it. And it's tough to go in somewhere every day and feel alienated, especially someone who's a veteran. And you walk in, you're like, dude, they don't care. They don't care about the same things I care about. Well, unfortunately, your personality doesn't mesh with this team. Every team is a different culture. Every team doesn't have culture. So I guess for Kevin Pillar's sake, it is what it is. You just didn't fit in, dude. You weren't part of the elite. You weren't part of their bullet club. You weren't part of their anything. You were just kind of an outsider. I'm not talking Kevin Nash, Scott Hall. I'm talking about like you just didn't fit in. Stinks. Oh well, but it's nice to see people candid like that. I really do respect that he said that. Like you don't see things like that said by players often. I didn't fit in. That summary is enough to just say, oh, you're a good enough person to speak your mind. I trust that you're gonna give me truth. I didn't fit in. It's tough.
Well, yeah, I mean, the way that I have some people look at it is like some of these guys now, they're like I said, dude, playing out of the park baseball, being in the 90s, there are a lot of 40-year-olds that were playing back then. Not a lot of 22-year-olds that were. The inverse now. You got so many, you got dudes where you're like, wow, you guys are just playing a couple years before you're 22 now, okay? All right. And that's where I'm like, yeah, dude, some of these guys are just older. Some of these guys have families. So when you're in these younger clubhouses, when you're in some of these other clubhouses, dudes may have other interests. I mean, for my dad, I remember in Detroit, that was when my parents were still together. Dude, we were hanging out with like all the families. Like, yeah, my dad went out with the guys every once in a while, but like, he had a family. Big
My
Hook couldn't
dog.
hang out like, yeah, he couldn't hang out like he used to. You know what I mean? Your interests still change, and you're not going to hate on the young cats that are going out. No, let them do their thing. But sometimes you just don't fit in. You just like, oh, okay. I mean,
This is what it is. I do love how you brought up the young guys. I know this is something that Jay is going to be very excited about. This is going to be our last topic for the night. Jay, how excited are you for the Futures game?
10, I'm probably sitting around a 7 or an 8. I do love the prospects. I do
We
love
got your
seeing
boy.
them on the
We
center
got
stage.
your boys.
I mean, listen, as a Phillies fan, seeing that Tait's there, I'm very excited for it. I love
Yes.
Eduardo Tait. I'm sad he's still 3-4 years away, but I mean, the kid's still only, I think, 17 or 18. So at some point, the
Yeah,
Phillies
I
are
don't
going to
think he's
stop
17
gap
yet.
in
Yeah.
here, and we'll just have to wait till Tait's 21 or so. I hope he just doesn't fall off like we've seen with Ethan Salad,
Yeah.
however he wants to go about his last name.
Salad. Top salad.
But I mean, you still get Max Clark. I haven't seen both the rosters. I know Cam Collier had the big home run last year. I'm not sure if he's back. He might be because I don't think he's on
He's
the
injured.
Reds.
I'm pretty sure.
Is he? That sucks.
Yeah,
Let me
he's
check.
not here. We do have a local boy for me and Jay, Kevin McGonigal.
Kevin
Who's an
McGonigal
absolute
officially
unit stud.
a top 10 prospect now as well. MLB Pipeline currently has him, I think, in 7th. He's
21.
actually, I thought I saw something that said he was 7th. But
Unless
either
it
way,
jumped up in
he's
the past
making his way up.
day and a half. Yeah, I mean, he's still at 21 in this graphic that I'm looking at right now. I mean, they
But
have
no, I'm very excited for the
Tait
futures.
at a very nice number at 69. Nice. But they have Painter sitting at 5. You know, there's a guy that I'm very, very excited to see from the Nationals because I grew up watching his dad, Listen, his dad was a menace.
He played some ball with the Blue Rocks not that long ago. I think last year he
Yeah,
was on the Blue Rock squad.
listen, I love legacy players. I really hope that Grissom Jr. can just keep it up and live up to the name. Speaking of the name, there's another guy from the NL that I'm very excited for because I want to see what he's made of. Jesus Made from the Brewers. He is the number 18 prospect from the Brewers farm system. Well, MLB's pipeline. Listen, your name's Jesus Made. You are Jesus Made. You better be amazing. Awesome, awesome name. And there's one other guy that I was like, dude, that name's awesome. Where is it? Oh, yes. MLB's number 63 overall from the Blue Jays. Trey Savage. That's a cool last name. There's also a guy from Boston. I couldn't even
I was just
begin
about
to
to
tell
bring
you
him
how to
up.
pronounce his first name.
Don't even worry about his first name.
Dude,
Just know that his nickname is the password.
the password Garcia.
The password.
Dude, that name it's me being drunk playing Scrabble and throwing letters on the board and be like, that's a name. That's a word.
Honestly, the one guy I'm most excited to see, and I completely forgot he was
Insane.
even in it, is Enrique Bradfield. Watching him at Vanderbilt, you never really realized how fast he was until he was
From the
just
Orioles.
stealing a bag every time. Like, he would get on first with a single, and then 2 pitches later, he's on third. Like, the dude is insanely
What do you
fast.
think? He's the next Chandler Simpson?
I mean, I really hope not. We've seen Chandler Simpson come up, do well, and then he got sent back down. I'm kind of hoping he's more
You're
of
right.
a healthy Kyle Lewis, if anything. Someone that comes up, hits the ball really well, and is able to maintain health. But no, it's definitely going to be a good year for the Futures game. I'm really excited.
I'm actually excited. Yeah. Where's
Hopefully
the
in
Futures
the
game
coming
being
months.
aired?
Where's it being played?
No, where's it being aired? Like on TV?
I would hope MLB Network.
Same.
Well,
I
where's
really
it
hope MLB
being
Network.
played for people without cable? I'll stream it.
Sports Center, ESPN, the Pirate Bay, wherever you so choose.
Streamy stuff.
I love the
Stream.
Still the Seven Seas.
Crack streams.
We don't advocate that.
No.
We don't advocate piracy unless it's for UFC pay-per-views because Dana White said he could see us. And he didn't see me naked on Saturday night watching it or you knock out at
Hey, listen, man. If that's how you want to spend your Saturday nights watching a bunch of dudes roll around, I applaud you.
Hey, Dana White said he was taking he was just looking at everybody doing it. So I was like, all right, bet. I got to pose for the photo. And hopefully he got my Christmas card.
That's a
You're
big
such a
power
rebel.
move right there.
You're
I'll be
such a
honest.
rebel. You're such a
Did.
rebel.
I'm
So wait,
so
did he get a
angsty,
poster
man.
board? Is he getting a poster board in the mail?
Yeah, bro. And it's like
Because
a
that's the
photocopy
only
of
way
like
your
a full
cards
spread.
make sense.
We're taking it back to 2004, bro. I
He's
sat on
got
a
a trifold
photocopy of
poster board.
it, bro. Fold it out, and it's just like, whoa! Close it back up. Yeah. When it's closed like this, they're not spread. You open it like that, cheeks are spread. Get yourself a photocopier, kids. Start messing with your teachers.
Well, speaking of closer, I think it's about time we bring him in and round off this boy with some final thoughts. D,
There
you
we
want to
go.
go first?
Ooh.
Yeah, my final thoughts, like always. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. We always appreciate it. Good morning, good evening, good night to wherever you are watching it from. I do hope you guys are having a blessed week. To everybody watching this, yeah, dude. Peace, love, unity to everybody except Trevor Bauer and Zach Hample. You're those two people. It's tough shit over here. But,
Man,
love to all.
nothing's
Hate
better
to
than you
some.
adding one to the hit list.
Yeah, just had to. But, yeah, hope you guys are having a blessed week and a great summer. So, it's your boy, the Stat Guy.
Say that again. Say that again.
It's your boy, the Stat Guy. When you wake up in the morning,
Ooh,
remember it.
that just made my back crack, and I feel better. Nice. All right, Jay, I'm going to take this right before you can just send us into a nice little slumber before our nation's birthday. On this day in baseball history, July 1965, horseplay between two Phillies teammates. Frank Thomas, not that Frank Thomas, not that Frank Thomas, not the big hurt, and Dick Allen turned serious when Thomas swung a bat at Dick Allen, and then Thomas hit a pinch home run to tie the game in the eighth. But unfortunately, the Reds prevailed and won 10-8. Such sad news. Following the game, Thomas was released and then signed with the Astros. This Frank Thomas, not as big as the Big Hurt, still a big guy, 6'3", 200 pounds. He's a big guy. Was a lot more frail and white compared to the Big Hurt. Although he had a very solid career. 286 home runs, an 18.7 career WAR, batted 266, almost 800 runs, almost 1,000 RBIs. You got to give credit where credit's due. That's a solid career. Based over 16 years. Too bad you decided to swing a bat at someone who should be an incredible Hall of Famer in Dick Allen. Wait, did they add him last year? No, Dick Allen's still not a Hall of Famer, correct?
Dick Allen's going in this year.
Okay. All right. So
Veteran committee.
you took a swing at a dog. Yeah, you took a swing at a dog and you didn't mount up too much. So that's baseball history for today. I'm curious. I'm doing this on the fly right now. Means that we won't be here tomorrow. We have a lot of stuff to do. I'm going in the future, but not really, because this is the past. 1939. A tearful Lou Gehrig tells 61,808 fans at Yankee Stadium. I consider myself the luckiest man on the face of the earth. Gehrig's uniform number is retired, and he is the first major league player to ever have that honor. Pretty damn incredible. But Lou Gehrig was the first to say, "You're immortal. No one else can be you. So therefore, no one else will have your number." I'm proud of that. I'm proud of that fact that I know that. So that is my July 4th fact. Other than the fact that it has nothing to do with baseball, but that's the day that we need to do as an American country from henceforth. Just saying. Jay, send us into the future. It's a wonderful send off.
For my final thought, obviously, follow up with Damon. Just want to thank everyone for tuning in to the podcast, behind the scenes, reading the comments. I love it. I love the way you guys respond to it. I'm working on the new episode. Hopefully going to get it out soon. I promise I will get this damn thing finished before we record next week. But yeah, once again, just want to say thank you. You already know who it is. The boys from Drunks on the Pond. I'm Jay. That's Damon. That's Rich. And once again, we will see you all next week. But Z, I need you to do me a favor, baby. Hit that music. It's time to get the hell on out of here. Peace.